You know, the insurance industry is up against a new kind of test, and it's got nothing to do with the money on your balance sheet. We're talking about a high-stakes, full-scale simulation of pure chaos. Today, we're going to break down a strategic blueprint that's designed to take a firm from just being compliant to being truly, deeply resilient. Let's dive in.
This quote right here just nails it. You can forget about your typical financial audit. The Prudential Regulation Authority, the PRA, they're not interested in your capital this time. They want to test your command structure. This is all about leadership, speed, and how you communicate when it feels like the whole world is on fire.
So what exactly is this DyGIST thing? Well, it stands for the Dynamic General Insurance Stress Test. Think of it as a mandatory fire drill for 2026. Only, instead of a fire, the PRA is simulating a complete market meltdown. They want to know one thing. Will your command structure and your tech hold up, or will it crack under pressure?
Okay, here's our game plan for today. We'll start by talking about that heartbeat under pressure. Then we'll meet the resilience architect who has a solution. After that, we're diving deep into the 5 pillars of readiness, checking out some highlights from the front line, and then we'll walk through a 220-day countdown. We're going to wrap it all up by asking that one big question. Are you ready for chaos?
So who can possibly lead a charge like this? Well, the source material points to a new kind of role, the strategic resilience architect. And listen, this is not your typical project manager. This is a strategist who gets both the technology and the regulation, inside and out. And the architect behind this blueprint we're looking at, a consultant named Dave B.
So what makes this whole approach so credible? Well, it's built on a solid 20 years of experience transforming huge companies. But the real kicker is what the slide calls muscle memory. This comes from being in the trenches during the 2022 insurance stress test with AIG. That's not theory, that's real-world, battle-tested experience in the exact kind of high-pressure situation DyGIST is designed to be.
All right, so how do you actually prepare for this? The whole framework really rests on 5 foundational pillars. It's a strategic blueprint for not just surviving the test, but actually thriving under that immense pressure. Let's get into the first one.
Pillar number 1 is all about governance velocity. The whole idea here is to get rid of bottlenecks before a crisis ever hits. You pre-authorize key operational moves so the board isn't getting bogged down in the weeds fighting tactical fires. This frees them up to focus on what really matters: strategy, capital, and the firm's reputation.
Next up, Pillar 2, 2-speed analytics. Look, in a crisis, you need answers and you need them fast. The speed layer uses some clever modeling to get you good enough estimates in under 48 hours. Then, the accuracy layer can follow up to refine those numbers. It's a really smart trade-off between speed and perfect accuracy when that clock is ticking down.
Now this one is absolutely crucial. Pillar 3 is management action realism. Your recovery plan might look perfect on paper, right? But what happens when every single one of your competitors is trying to do the exact same thing at the exact same time? This pillar forces you to stress test your strategy against these crowded trade scenarios, like everybody trying to sell off the same assets at once, and make sure your plan is actually going to work in the real world. Pillar 4 gets down to the nuts and bolts, the tech backbone. It's called integrated technical assurance. All this means is that your core systems, whether it's Guidewire, Duck Creek, you name it, they have to be giving you clean, trusted data in real time. Because let's be honest, if you can't trust your data, your big strategic decisions are nothing more than a wild shot in the dark.
And the final pillar, number 5, is narrative dominance. This is so important. It is not enough to just have the right numbers. You have to be able to tell the right story with them. You have to build a compelling, believable narrative for the regulators that explains your data, your actions, and your strategy. In a crisis, controlling the story is every bit as important as controlling your assets.
Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But does it actually work in practice? Let's take a look at some highlights from the front line to see how these principles have delivered some pretty tangible results when the stakes were incredibly high. This timeline really shows a clear pattern of success in these high-pressure cookers. From leading the 2022 stress test response at AIG to driving massive transformations at Amlin and the Ardenal Group, this is exactly the kind of experience you need to tackle a challenge like DyGIST. And here we go. Let's talk about the financial payoff. Over at Amlin, a sharp focus on IT and data assurance actually freed up over £250 million. This just proves that building resilience isn't just another compliance cost, it's a direct path to unlocking serious value. And just look at this incredible jump in efficiency at Ardenal Group. The rate of claims that could be processed automatically just skyrocketed from a tiny 5% all the way up to 45%.
That is a massive leap in operational efficiency, and it's all thanks to modernizing those core systems.
Here's a perfect example of an innovation that was born directly from a crisis. During that 2022 stress test at AIG, the legacy systems were just way too slow. So the solution was to build a custom net of reinsurance quick calc tool. This thing could model the financial impact of a catastrophe in less than 4 hours, completely bypassing the system's slowness and delivering the kind of speed that DyGIST is now demanding from everyone.
So the big question is, how do you get there? Well, the source material lays out a really clear, actionable 120-day countdown. This is the roadmap designed to take a firm from its normal, everyday, business-as-usual state to a fully prepared war room footing.
And the framework unfolds over 4 clear phases. The first month, you're laying the foundations and setting up that war room. The second month is all about building the data engine. The third month is the forge. That's where you test everything, you run your drills, you build that muscle memory. And then the final month is for hardening all the systems and getting that final board sign-off.
And once you're in that active phase, this is what a day actually looks like. It's a daily battle rhythm. It kicks off with a situation report at 8 a.m. sharp. Then it moves into a remediation sprint to fix any issues that pop up. And it all wraps up with a sign-off from the Gold Commander at 5 p.m. It's disciplined, it's high tempo, and it's exactly the kind of structure you need in a crisis.
So, when you pull it all together, the most crucial point here is that this entire approach represents a massive shift in mindset. You're moving beyond just managing a compliance project. You're focusing on a much, much bigger goal, genuinely de-risking the future of your entire organization.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The goal isn't just to pass the DyGIST test, it's to build permanent muscle memory right into the leadership team so they're prepared to win in any crisis, not just this one simulation.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. When faced with true systemic chaos, is your leadership team just checking the boxes to be compliant, or have they truly developed the instincts, the resilience, that crucial muscle memory to not just survive, but to actually win?